Hello and welcome to day 3. So today I will say that it's a little different for me as far as getting in tune with God. I feel like, and being completely real, I don't like to edit this stuff out because I want to make this as realistic and almost like if I were to have you here with me talking to me. That's what I want out of this. But I was going to say, today is day 3, and yesterday ended again with kind of, I've had a couple breakthroughs now, and I know I did not call my mom this time, but I actually was still present here in my office when I had kind of a breakdown. It wasn't a bad thing though. The breakdown can kind of sound, the whole phrase breakthrough, breakdown seems a little bit more dramatic, a little more emotional. But that wasn't the case for me. It really was a beautiful thing. Just like on Monday when I called my mom, it was more of like a reflection on myself and just how grateful I am for the job I have. And that's most likely why I had this breakdown / breakthrough here. I was just here finishing up a couple of jobs, sat here for a moment to reflect on my desk, and I realized just how hard it was to, and again, this is me being real, so I'm telling you, like, this all is from my heart, and with this fasting, it's nothing but real. If it's not hard, again, you're not doing it right. So I was sitting here probably an hour before I could eat, and I kind of do count down the minutes until I can eat, but it is awesome that he, God can take that hunger as well. Like right now, my stomach was growling before I got on here, and I asked for him to stop the growling, and that sounds crazy, but my stomach's not been growling since I prayed that. So, there are things that we can pray that might sound crazy to one person, but makes a lot of sense to the next. So I'm being myself right now by telling you that open, and judgment aside, I myself used to be a judgmental person and think, wow, these people sound kind of nuts, believing that something bigger than themselves can stop a hunger pain or get their mind off of their bellies, growling, and stop the growling altogether. But I'm here to tell you, this is day 3. I've had this happen multiple times so far, and it definitely has increased my faith. But as far as breaking down goes, yeah, that was all in regards to me reflecting on my past job, and it was a very heavy lifting manual labor job. I was a manager and I also was a designer there, more color coordinated designer, but it was a very hard job for me, and it definitely paid a toll to my body. It really did, and I could say that reflecting yesterday after all those hours of not eating, I was just forced to kind of reflect on things, and I am just so grateful. And that's what I'm not going to get emotional now. I was thinking I was probably going to cry during this video, but I'm not going to cry. But yesterday, yes, I bawled my eyes out because I can do nothing but thank God for this job I'm at right now. Where, I, like, for example, have a dog that seizures a lot, and so that can cause situations to come about where I'm on time for work, but then I wake up and she's over there seizuring. I have to go and help her, and so I'm late for work, like this morning. But, this has happened a couple times, and this job and this boss I have here, it's just him and I in this office, and I did work with several different bosses and a lot of different people at the other job, but, more of a corporate job, and this job is not as much corporate, but at the same time, I was placed here, and it definitely was not my doing. I didn't want to work here specifically, but then I was weighing the pros and cons, and little did I know, the awesome boss I put on the pro list, as far as how nice he was in the interview, turned into this ridiculously kind-hearted, praying with me, amazing person, and yeah, I had a breakdown for sure because I realized, when I wanted to do things my way, and whenever I was looking for jobs, desperate, and got that job before, without naming names, you know, it was not easy for me to, you know, it would have just not been easy when it does come time to have kids. I just couldn't have done it with that job, you know, because I don't have any kids, but you know, my dogs, my fur babies are my kids, and I couldn't even stay home with her during the seizure because I had to open up the store, or I had to, you know, meet with a customer, or I had just bosses looking at me in judgmental ways and saying, you know, you can't have this type of job and be in this position without putting your family last, pretty much. And I'm just, you know, so grateful to not be there anymore, because this morning, for example, just like every other time, I just texted my boss, I'm sorry, my dog's having a seizure, I have to stay here. And just reflecting yesterday, you know, and then of course it happens this morning, so I have even more to reflect on today, but it made me reflect yesterday on that same topic, just how he's just like, okay, you know, do what you have to do, you know, life's not easy, and you know, same thing goes for him, like I'll cover his shift, you know, and it's just, that's the point of being here on earth with other people. And that's what I was reflecting on yesterday, is we're not here alone, we're here with multiple people that aren't always you know, able to see the brighter side of things. And we're here with people that, you know, have similar experiences, if not the same experiences. And, you know, so our testimonies and our ability to connect to them and open up to them and be kind to them and be the example of Christ to them is very important. It's very important for the little bit of time that we have here, because we don't know when our time is up. We don't know. Only God knows. So what are we doing here if we're just doing things for ourselves, you know? And so having a boss like I have now, not only is amazing as far as like with situations like this morning with my dog having a seizure, but it just made me reflect yesterday that it also gave me a representation. Finally, after being at the other job for like almost 8 years, it gave me a really big perspective check on what kind of managers are out there and what kind of people are out there, because you know, it kind of damages your vision of people, and a lot of trauma and bad situations and a lot of crying at that other job has gotten me to have a hard shell that I feel like through these fastings especially, I've realized it's been broken, like the shell is breaking and has been broken. So yeah, it's just beautiful, the fasting that I'm doing, and I'm on day 3, so that's the update so far. Is like, man, definitely hungry. It's a lot easier than the past couple days, and I feel like the number one thing I can say as far as a word goes that I've learned from the past couple days experience with fasting, it's gratitude. I just have so much gratitude for my life right now, and it's all God-given, you know. I never really understood it before, but God is always on our side. He's on our team. He's pointing at us, not in a judgmental point, but he's pointing at us like, I want you for my team. I want you. And the closer we can get to him, the more we can hear him. And the less we rely on, these things like food, which we need, you know, to feed ourselves. The less we rely on those things, though, even just for a short period, even if it's just a 24-hour period, the more you'll rely on him, you know, because he's feeding your soul when you're not feeding your stomach. And that's the best way I can explain the fasting and how it's been for me so far. So I hope that made any sense at all to people, especially those that were maybe inspired or thinking about fasting. I would say, you know, if you're looking for that relationship growth, if you're looking for a breakthrough or a breakdown, that's okay, because, you know, like I said, breakdowns don't have to be a bad thing. You know, I cried yesterday because of a great thing. Like, my boss is an amazing man, and I was placed in this job after I let go of my control with that other job, and I was no longer employed there, and I just had to surrender everything to him to understand my path, and it's been a long journey. You know, I've been at this job, the end of March will be a year, so not even a year yet, and so many things have changed, you know, because when you get God involved, he works fast, and he's on your team. So like and subscribe. All right, thanks.